Hello and welcome to this overnight review. Recording this at night. Dark. Well, this is Bulleit Rye Frontier Whiskey. Distilled and aged in the Bulleit family tradition. 95 Rye Frontier Whiskey. Straight American Rye Whiskey. Made using a 95% rye mash for a superior American Rye Whiskey experience. Yes, 95% rye, 5% malted barley, introduced in 2011 and produced in Indiana. Distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana at Midwest Grain Products, okay, and bottled by Bulleit Distilling Company in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay, so it's bottled in Kentucky, but it's produced in Indiana. So another Indiana rye whiskey, just like the Dickel is also produced in Indiana and sent down and bottled in Kentucky. And Dickel is also owned by the same company, Diageo, okay, who is Guinness. They own Guinness. Well, Guinness merged with another company, Grand Met, and they became Diageo years ago. Okay, but anyway, and they do like a lot. They're sort of like Sazerac. They go around buying a bunch of companies. Bulleit started in 1987 by Tom Bulleit, purchased by Seagram's in 1997, and then that came under Diageo's control in 2000, so it's had three owners. Right. Diageo also bought Crown Royal from Seagram's when they folded up, and they bought Seagram's VO, the famous Canadian, another famous Canadian whiskey, and Seagram's 7 Crown, famous American whiskey. All that was purchased from Seagram's in 2000. They've since sold off the VO brand to Sazerac, but they held on to the 7 Crown. All right, anyway, let me rinse my hands. So I've never had this before. I do rye whiskey reviews from time to time. I have no pattern to buy them except I just pick up whatever I see. And I'm looking to buy the old overhauled, the new version, the 4-year aged. I have 2 other variants of it. I haven't seen the 4-year age yet. But anyway, so back to this. Gets an 84 on distiller.com. Gets 94 on Total Wine's website. And 92 on Google. Okay. And I'm sure there's going to be video reviews through the roof, so it's going to take me a while to watch all of them. So I'll start checking them out. I got this on a great, I'll say this up front, I got a great deal on this, okay? I had seen it for years at Walmart and other stores, and I was like, well, one day, because we get liquor at Walmart here, they have their own liquor section, and I was like, well, one day I'm going to get it, I'm going to check it out, but I never did, just kept putting it off, but I mean, I was going to get it, and then I went to Walmart a few months ago, and they had it closed out tagged for, the bright yellow tag for $10. I said, well, for $10, I'm buying it, which I immediately did. So incredible, right? So straight straight Indiana rye whiskey, meaning there's no coloring added, no flavoring added. It's just 2 components, 95% rye grain, 5% malted barley. Now the Dickel is not listed as straight rye. If you look at the George Dickel, which I like very much, but if you look at, I also got a great deal on that at Walmart, $12.50. Can't explain those prices, but when I see them, I'm on those, okay? But the Dickel rye is not listed as straight rye. It just says rye whiskey. So you might want to take that into account. But anyway, let's go here and check it out. Straight rye's got to be aged in new charred oak barrels. It's got to be aged at least 2 years. All right, got to be at least 80 proof. Can be from any state, but cannot have coloring or flavoring added. The other 49% can be any grain, doesn't matter. So the minimum is 51% rye. The other 49% can be all corn, can be all wheat, can be a mixture of those: wheat, corn, rye, barley malt. In this case, they went 95-5. So the barley malt maybe will cut the edge off it a little bit of the pepperiness, but this is going to be a full bore rye thing. Okay, so like I said, I haven't read any reviews. I've never watched a review for this product, and I've actually never talked to anyone about this product in my life. So I have a total newbie, if you want to say, attitude toward this, because that's my experience with it. Zilch. Let's go with the aroma. Minty, peppery rye. Now, if you've never had rye, go buy a loaf of rye bread, and then you're going to see, because rye is a type of grain that's peppery and minty, in the way I see it. Not heat pepper, like you say, oh, I don't like hot sauce. It's not like that. It's just a spice, peppery experience. And that is here. So it's very nice. Let's go with the taste chuz. Get sugar, sweetness. Most whiskey to me tastes like sugar water. Now, that may sound bizarre, but go ahead and get whiskey and try those. I don't care if it's blended, straight, Scotch, Irish, Canadian, American, Japanese. They'll have a sugar water component. I don't know what it is about it, but it just tastes like that to me. And this has the mintiness. Now, it's a medium body, and it's a typical medium long finish. Most of these don't drop off too fast or linger too long. They kind of just mass-produced whiskeys. They like that. They just, whether they expensive, mid-range, or cheap, they all have like those generalized features. Like they won't drop off too fast, and they won't linger too long. They'll just be mid-range there on the finish. They usually be like medium-bodied, and they're usually not too sharp or too harsh or too bitey or too, high, low, whatever. They're just kind of like in the middle there. Then there's just different nuances for each. Obviously, with the really cheap ones, you may run into some exotic flavors, and then the finish might be some of it, the bitiness, the product will be evident. Which is why a lot of times with those, they'll have natural flavor added. And they won't even bother trying to sell it as a straight bourbon or anything, because like the people that are paying $8.99 to $10.99 for a bottle, they don't, it's not like that's a big focus area for them. And that's understandable. So it depends on your utilization. This one is, probably predominantly used as a mixer, but I guess a few people may sip it. They had some tasting notes on the website, and I did read over them. I did read them, but I never can remember those anyway. And then usually my experience doesn't quite match up with what the company's saying, and I'm not accusing the companies of being deceptive or lying. I'm just saying I'm not grasping what they're showing, okay? Okay, so first experience with Bulleit in my life. I don't know how they would pronounce this. If somebody, I've never seen this name except on the bottle. In Louisiana, I've never seen this last name, this surname. I think in Louisiana, people might pronounce it Bulleit. Bulleit. Okay, but anyway, that doesn't matter. It's sweet. So if you're opposed to pretty sweet products, you may not want to mess with it. But final sip, I'll give it a score. Now there's one from Canada, Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. Also 95% rye. That has more, and that's also from Diageo. Interesting. That one's a little more forceful, like peppery, and got more body and more excitement, I guess you could say, excitement level to it. So that one's hard to beat if you want to try a really nice mid-range, nearly 100% rye whiskey. That's a good one to go with, the Northern Harvest Rye. If you can track it down, you probably should be able to find it. But this one is very nice. Give one more sip and we'll score it. I'm gonna go with 92, A minus, not quite A. I think it's a little too sugary to be a solid A, so I'm kind of gonna go along with yes, with Google. They're giving it a 92, and I think I'll go with a 92 also. So A minus, getting into excellent, or definitely excellent, but not quite most excellent, because I do 90 to 92 excellent, 93 to 97 is most excellent, like solid A. 98 to 100 would be outstanding, which I almost never run across any beer, wine, or liquor. Don't typically run across something like that. But they're out there, just don't experience those too much. But yeah, so for the normal price, it's worth it. For $10, yeah, you gotta buy it. So, Les Bon Temps Relais, an excellent product. And I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Kentucky and tour. Let's see about that. I don't think they give actual tours at they have a couple of Bulleit distilleries there. So you could go to their visitor experience like they do at a lot of these companies, like the Evan Williams Experience or the Bulleit Experience. You don't get to really see the brewery tour, distillery tour, but it's kind of an interactive museum where they tell you about it. I guess that might be interesting. I went to one of those one time, a couple of times. It's not something I would care to do, but you might like it. So thank you for watching this video production.